Yo, what is up, dudes? How's it going? Well, I had to come on and show you this. The latest, get in this camera here, the latest guitar to make it to the basement. This is a custom built, handmade, and I think I can say one of a kind Hufschmidt guitar created in Switzerland by one guy, Patrick Hufschmidt, using a gorgeous mahogany. Let me get down on this camera here. Mahogany body and neck. It's Sipo mahogany, which is a very sturdy mahogany from what I understand. Very stable. And as you can see, a pine top. A pine top, which he has treated. This is a new pine top, but he has treated it to make it look weathered and aged. It's sort of a proof of concept, kind of. So he had done a build with an Iceman style like shape, using a real old pine slab of wood that was reclaimed from a door. It was 120 years old. Had this like amazing weathering to it. So he builds that guitar and he says, well, geez, I wonder if I could take a new piece of pine and make it look like it's old and weathered. I want to, can I pull that off? And I'd say he did. Say it looks amazing. Right? It's just like, can I take a new piece of pine and make it look like this old weathered piece of pine? And he really did. And it is gorgeous. And I've talked about this, and with guitars, one of the things that really gets me excited about a guitar is show me something I haven't seen before. Show me something new. Kind of goes back to Siskel and Ebert, right? At the movies. Gene Siskel they both passed away, rest in peace, but Gene Siskel used to say, just show me something new. I've watched so many movies. I've seen the same thing over and over and over again. Show me something new. And, that comes through in spades with this guitar. I have no guitar even remotely like this guitar. Not even close. So, like I said, it's a mahogany body. Get it down here in this camera. It's a little better. It's a mahogany body with a pine top. I believe these are hip shot locking tuners. Can I get them maybe in this shot over here? Nah, it's kind of out of focus. Maybe this one? That's a little better. Hip shot locking tuners. Again, very different, these barrel style, and very different than anything. They're extremely smooth. But very different from anything I've ever owned. I've never had anything even remotely like this. And, the wonderful brass inlay for the branding. And the amazing neck joint, which is about as out of the way of any neck joint I've ever played. Now, it's very comfortable playing guitar, extremely comfortable. As for neck size, I'd say it's very similar to my Gibson SG. Right, just to put out a guitar maybe a lot of people have played. My Les Paul Classic is a smaller neck, but the SG is about the same. Roughly about the same. If you're a Vola player, play a lot of Volas, it is larger than the Vola Modern neck. It is definitely smaller than the Vola Vintage neck. It's sort of like right in between. But a beautiful, beautiful playing neck. Very comfortable. It uses as you can see here, an ebony fretboard. This is streaked ebony. There's probably some fancy scientific name for it, but this is Again, sort of like, and the same with the pine top, using sustainable woods. And the problem with ebony is that there's a tremendous amount of waste to get to perfectly black ebony. And so what do we do with that streaked ebony? And there was a time when they would just discard it in the forest and keep knocking trees down until they found one they liked. I mean, it was a tremendous amount of waste because it was just too expensive to get it back, right? To bring it back for use. They wouldn't get enough money for it. It wouldn't make it worth it. So they keep chopping trees down until they got to a perfectly black one. Now we got one. That's a lot of waste. So what do you do with the streaked ebony in all the trees? It's the same ebony. It's just the coloration. And yes, we're that superficial. So it was great to see the use of the streaked ebony, and you'll see more and more of this because there's plenty of ebony out there. It's just that people want it perfectly black from head to toe, and that's like 1 out of every 20 trees. That's a lot of waste. But this amazing pine top, you can see it from the side. It's a top. It's the real deal. And it's got a Lumitone. Let me get that over here. Those are Lumitone death buckers. But as we'll see, they clean up very nicely. You know, it's marketing. You know, they have to be. And your eyes aren't fooling you. Those are a little oversized. He's put a 7-string in there just because I think he felt like it was a little cramped with the 6 and that you've got plenty of room past the strings with the 7. So he centers them on as a 7-string. But, you know, obviously it's a 6-string guitar. A volume and a tone, and I don't think you can see that, but it has these wonderful little rings on the side that make it easy to grip. Ibanez in the 80s had a knob very temporarily like that I used to love, and I haven't really seen one since. Of course, a 2-way switch, you know, there's a volume and a tone, and then, of course, this, which is a kill switch. I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the first guitar I've ever owned with a kill switch. So, you know, again, a lot of firsts. I believe I've had a solid pine body telly years ago, but never a pine top like this. So, and I've never had, I think, Lumitones, whether it's the Deathbucker or any of the Lumitone pickups. I don't think I've ever tried an Lumitone pickup before. They're super tight though. So it's just been a very pleasurable guitar to to play and to look at. Quite frankly, I just like the look of the thing. And again, just so different than anything else I own, which always scores points in my book. So let's check out a little bit of the audio. This is my standard patch. We can switch this out. I've been playing a lot of this, where was it? It's sort of down in the... You know, some of these... That's the modern clean. All right, let's go to some of the ones that I normally play. This is just a straight Tweed amp. Just let's, you know, it can clean up, even though they're death buckers. You know, they're perfectly clean. A lot more bass in the neck. As you would expect. Let's switch over to the Behave lead. And they do sound good, huh? Here. Yeah, pretty good. And let's move to a very common one. This is very in the line of the Death Bucker name, the dual heavy rig. Get a little chuggy. Yeah, they really good sounding pickups here. Let's try one more. We'll go back from whence we came. My standard British. You can figure that out. Yeah, I think it sounds great. So let's just cover a few more of the specs. I just wanted to give you some sound examples when we were talking about the pickups and so forth. But the nut, I don't know if you can see it here. I'll try and get some close-up pics for you. But, you know, he really has this expertise. And if you don't know, I am a huge fan of Hufschmidt picks. It all started with the picks. So if you know anything about Hufschmidt plectrums, his guitar picks, he makes them from all these exotic materials, acrylics and resins and all kinds of, you know, very expensive and difficult to work with plastics, including things like Peak and Torlon, and I think this one's called like Plek or something, right? These are all very high-end plastics that are designed to take crazy environments, high heat and high pressure, and you know, a lot of abrasion, and they won't nothing. You know, they shrug it off, right? They're very often used, and especially Torlon, where metal is often used, but even the metal would get fatigued over time, so they substitute the Torlon, which is amazing. So this nut is made from, I believe, Peak, which is a very strong material, incredibly strong, incredibly difficult to work with. It'll last forever. And because it's so strong, he could actually, I don't know if I can get it on this camera here. I'll get some B-roll. He can actually scallop out in between the frets just for looks. He even says there's nothing functional about it. It's just to give it a certain look. But because this material is just so robust, you can actually do that. All right, but this is a a nut that will outlast your lifetime easily. And again, one of the other, sort of materials that he works with is glow-in-the-dark materials. And these side dots, again, I'll try and get some B-roll so that you can see it. These side dots are all this highly luminescent and fluorescent material that, you can shine a black light on it and they glow like crazy. And if you shine any light on it and take it away, they stay glowing. So if you've seen KDH's talk about his Hufschmidt guitar, he said the only thing he didn't like was that it had the brass dots on the side, and that when he was playing on stage, unless you caught the light just right, it was kind of difficult to see them. I have a guitar with brass inlays on the side. I know exactly what he's talking about. So now he uses this glow-in-the-dark material. That'll never be a problem again. And in fact, he's taken it to a whole nother level. He's using like large block Luma inlays. And again, these aren't things that are, and I've seen guitars that have like LED systems. This is not that. These are things that absorb light, store it somehow, and then stay lit when the lights go out. He even had one material recently that was like black, so you could barely see it against, the dark fretboard. But sure enough, when the lights went out, they glowed a bright green. It was crazy. And again, it's nice and soft, so it's not like it's emitting light. It's just, I guess, releasing light that it's stored somehow. I don't know how glow in the dark really works. I should look that up. But something to do with storing the light a little bit. It takes a while for it to decay, kind of like the phosphors right on your TV, on the old TV sets. But this guitar is just so, upscale. So these are handmade by one guy, and we're not talking CNC machines here. We're talking, power tools. I'm sure he's got a bandsaw and things like that. But once you get past the primary cuts, it's all by hand. It's all hand tools after that. So, it's countless hours of time. So these, his guitars start usually in like the 3,000 euros. They're fairly, expensive relative to, a lot of production-made guitars. Again, it's not a production-made guitar. It's a handmade guitar. I was lucky. We had established a relationship after I bought my first round of picks. He sort of reached out to me, and we've been friends, talking ever since. And I said, someday maybe I'll get a Hufschmidt guitar. And he said, you know what? Maybe we can work something out. Let's talk. And we were able to, to figure something that worked out for both of us. And I am damn happy. To add this to the what I would call the top shelf collection. Easily. It came with a wonderful hardshell case. I don't know what else I can tell you about it. I'll leave a link in the description, for more information. We can just hear it a little bit more. It gets all those like harmonics, Yeah. It's so, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but I think the pine top, even more than like the flame of the quilt top, I just like it so much because it adds all like this rustic aesthetic to it, right? Instead of being like all flashy and modern, which would be nice. I'm not saying that, but it's sort of like modern meets, vintage. And I really like that about it. I really, really do. Look at this thing. Just an amazing, amazing guitar. And I've had to keep quiet about it for a little bit because I knew it was on its way, but it got hung up in customs. It made it from Switzerland to the United States in like 48 hours. And then it sat in United States Customs while they were like, you know, figuring out what to do. And they were like, are any of the woods composite woods? And I was like, no, I don't think any of it. It's all just regular wood. They're like, okay. Then it sat like for a few more days, and they were like, does it contain any toxic materials? Like, I don't think so. It's like wood and aluminum and is it, you know, metals. I don't know. What's on the toxic? They're like, you're fine. And then all of a sudden it was released. I'll see if I can get a shot of it. One cool thing that you can't see right now is that underneath this back piece is a new old stock Russian Teflon capacitor used for the tone. It's just, it looks so amazing. Good. Works great. Here's on the neck. Right, you can hear it. All right. I will leave a link in the description for more information. I'm looking forward to playing this on a live show. I've had to keep it under wraps until I got this produced video done. But we're finally here. And there you go. The Hufschmidt guitars. Let me see what the exact name of this guitar is. Tantalum model. Tantalum. Artificially aged and distressed pine top. Specifications are perfectly quarter sawn Sipo mahogany body and neck, which we talked about. It is gorgeous. A Krella Cream ebony fretboard, 24 frets, 25.5-inch scale and a 12-inch radius. That's something I don't think we had touched yet. So 25.5-inch scale, 12-inch radius. It uses a scalloped peak nut. I got that right. It is peak. It uses all Hipshot hardware. It's high tolerance CTS spots. Uses a high quality kill switch. A new old stock Russian FT.027 UF Teflon capacitor. Custom unfinished 7-string Alumatone death buckers. And I forgot to mention the laser etched logo. If I can catch that in the light just right. And glow-in-the-dark side dots, antique bronzed finished coin logo inlay on the back. We mentioned that earlier. Of course, copper shielding. It's got 25 coats of hand applied oil-based varnish. Isn't that crazy? 25 coats of varnish. That's insane. And the top has a highly protective treatment to preserve the appearance, so it won't lose its silvering and its weathering. That was a part of the build process and the finishing process. Well, there you go. All right, guys. Hufschmidt's guitars, tantalum model with distressed pine top. I will leave a link for more of his work in the description. And there you have it. As always, thanks so much for hanging out. And rock on.